364 days ago, I had this crazy idea of vlogging and or filming something every single day for the next year. No breaks, no excuses. What started as a simple idea, or at least at the time I thought it was, turned into one of the most hardest and most rewarding creative challenges I've done to date. On day 365, I'm gonna break down what I've learned through this whole process. Things that almost made me quit, and what I would do differently if I were to do this creative challenge again. I'd appreciate it if you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. So first thing I want to talk about is the mindset going in and the reality I faced shortly after starting this whole thing. Well, for one, the mindset going into it was that I was very hyped about it because this is a new creative challenge, so I was very stoked. There was going to be new content on a daily, which I thought would be great for YouTube consistency and the algorithm. I was also heading to Thailand at the time and traveling around Southeast Asia with a one-way ticket, so I was excited to film it all. Everything lined up, so I thought it would be very easy, and boy was I wrong. I thought I could bang out and edit videos, but with the amount of content I was filming daily, no matter how fast I edited, there were a bunch more content to edit the following day, and the time I had to find to edit the videos when I'm out filming, I don't have a proper or set schedule, so that was the first mistake that I made. Since I was filming daily, if I don't finish a specific video that was supposed to be uploaded on YouTube that day, then I would be backlogged and the content would just snowball and pile up right after. Editing is very time consuming, and over the years, I've definitely improved my editing efficiency, but it still takes time to cut clips and put them in sequence, color grade, and do all of that. And then yeah, that's when it really hit me. After just a few weeks in, I was worried about burning out, and I even asked myself, what the hell did I get myself into? Though I was questioning this goal I had set for myself for the year, I wasn't about to back down on my word and thought about why I set this goal in the first place. The reason is I wanted to level up my vlogging and filming skills, and so I pushed through it. But even though I pushed through it, as weeks and months go by, I faced multiple challenges that actually taught me a lot. Now, one of the most common hurdles that kept happening throughout this whole process is not wanting to film. There's definitely days where I just didn't want to pick up a camera and film something. I knew this was gonna happen, but I didn't know how I was gonna handle it. The days when I didn't want to film the entire day and then the evening kind of just rolled in and set in, that's when I picked up the camera because I don't want to break this long streak of filming something every day. I also just thought and kept asking myself, what was the reason why I started this in the first place? It's really plain and simple, and that was just to better myself. I kept saying this to myself over and over again, and I gotta be honest, there were many times when I did speak or talk right in front of the camera, but I didn't even bother posting it because the sole purpose of it was to really just talk to the camera and just get better at vlogging or filming something. Next is the burden of the piled content. I dreaded film days because I knew it would just be content added to the already massive pile of editing I gotta do. How I got over it was doing it one video at a time and not thinking ahead and tweaking little ways to be much more efficient with content management and editing. Another common challenge I face vlogging and filming daily is filming the non-exciting days. Being a travel vlogger, I'm used to filming my adventures, filming something exciting and filming beautiful landscape and beautiful places and just exciting content. I'm constantly not traveling daily, and even when I'm in another country, like there's definitely days where it's just fairly slow, and figuring out how to make a boring scene look cool or cinematic was definitely a challenge for me. But looking back, this enabled me to be more super creative and get better at lighting, composition, to make a boring scene look appealing. The next thing is the amount of work versus the low views can be very depleting. Putting in many hours of work, filming and editing, then getting very little return in terms of the views can be actually very, very exhausting. It defeats you from time to time. I gotta admit that. I know this from the past already about social media, and I mean, I have experience of posting something, putting a lot of work into a creative post, let's say on Instagram or TikTok, and then not getting the amount of views. And I know this from the past already, and I know how to handle it. But this with YouTube, I feel like it's just a bit more blown up because there's more work, more planning that goes into it, because these videos do take time, so there's more hours that goes into it. And when you get little views, I feel like it's just more blown up compared to TikTok or Instagram. Like, it's just more depleting in that sense. I don't even know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel about it. Doing this brought those old feelings back once again. Every day I just had to tell myself I'm getting better at this, or at least 1% leveled up than yesterday. As selfish as it sounds, that this whole thing is for me and not for the views or other people. Last but not the least, neglecting other social media platforms like TikTok or Instagram. Because I was doing this creative challenge, my posts on other platforms became less and less. As much as I wanted to grow my accounts on these other platforms, I knew that I had to give something up, and I won't be able to do all of them. At first, I definitely tried to find a balance and to post as much as I could on Instagram and TikTok, but then I realized that YouTube had to be a priority if I wanted to continue on with this creative challenge. And it wasn't so bad making this decision anyways, because in fact, it was an easy decision just because YouTube is definitely my favorite platform. And so it was a no-brainer for me to just post less on the other two platforms. Now, here's what I would do differently if I was to do this creative challenge again, if I was crazy enough to do this challenge again, or if you're thinking of vlogging or filming daily, then take notes, because I guarantee this will help you. Number one is time management. I didn't have any of this, and if you were to just take 5 minutes before you start your day, jotting down how many hours you would like to film and how many hours you would like to edit, then that would definitely help a lot, because there were many times when I would just film and I was just over filming and I had very little to no time of editing. So there's that. And then also putting at least half an hour to an hour of just having some downtime on a daily. I think that was one mistake I did. I was just constantly banging out content, and then in the evening I would just edit. It was just non-stop every day. To take it a step further, if you really want to be better at time management, then I highly suggest setting a weekly time management goal. I think that would really help a lot. And then if you want to go a bit further, then you can do a monthly goal setting, but I think that's just too far. I think weekly time management is perfect. Even daily time management is better than nothing to what I was doing, but I feel that would definitely help a lot. The second one is including one light vlog or film days per week. In the beginning, I made the mistake, again, like I said, of filming heavy every single day for many days and weeks, and then getting backlogged on editing. And this would just put a lot of pressures. I don't know about you, but when I say a lot of things that I need to edit, it just puts a lot of pressure. Thirdly, keep your gear setup simple to reduce friction. I had the pleasure of getting the Osmo Pocket 3 and vlogging with it. It's a tiny piece of camera as opposed to my regular vlogging setup, which is like a shotgun mic over my mirrorless camera. That was a heavy setup. Having a smaller camera, it'll make things so much easier for you. But the only thing I wish I did was, even though I had the Osmo Pocket 3 and it was convenient, I wish I had the Osmo Action, because that was a GoPro like camera. It was tiny, it was square, and it's just it fits right in your pocket, whereas the Osmo Pocket, even though it is an Osmo Pocket, you can't really put it in your pocket. I mean, you could, but because it's a gimbal system, it's very sensitive, whereas an Osmo Action, you can just slip it into your pocket and it's very sturdy in that sense. But again, that's just a personal preference I have. And the other thing was that I was filming in multiple cameras, and I was filming on the Osmo Pocket 3, I was filming on the full frame, I was filming the B-rolls there, I was also filming on a crop sensor, and then I also had the drone and my GoPro for point of views. I think in the beginning, it's better to just stick to 1 or 2 cameras just because it just makes things easier. Now I understand that you got to get aerial shots, but don't make it too complicated. Whereas me, I definitely made it complicated by having multiple, main cameras and backup cameras, or multiple B-roll cameras, and then a GoPro camera and all of that. I just made it complicated, but I think if you had just 1 or 2 cameras, it'll make the editing more seamless and much easier. Number 4 is maintain a content idea list and stay organized. This is something I never did. I literally would just go out there and film my thing. I feel like there were many days where there's just no story, or there's no conflict to the days, so to speak. I think filming daily is great of what your life is like, but it's also adding a little bit of storytelling for sure, and adding a little lesson, I think, life lesson or conflict that you may have come across your day, or let's say you're going to work or something, like a little hurdle, and how do you get past it. I think that's one thing that I didn't do. But yeah, just having more planning on your days, and not every day has to be planned. I think maybe a few times a week would be nice, even once at least would be a great addition to your daily vlogs or daily film. And last but not the least, balancing privacy. I was horrible at this. I literally filmed everything from waking up, going to the gym, doing errands, washing clothes, everything, because I thought I had to film my life, because it was just, I committed to filming daily. And even though it is what I committed to, I feel like you need to find that balance to keep some things private in your life. By doing that, you're still able to draw some boundaries and find the fine line between the real you and your online persona, while still being authentic to the real you, if that even makes sense. A full year of vlogging taught me that the hardest part isn't starting, it's keeping it going. Some days were messy, some were magical, but no matter what happens, I realized every single one mattered. It propelled and brought me closer to my goal, which is just to be better at filming and vlogging. To everyone who watched, commented, or just hit play, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. This might be the end of the 365-day challenge, but it's not the end of the story. See you in the next one.